Although I woke up this morning and that was the first time I was like, okay, that's a little bite.
It's coming.
Honey, I think I'm starting to use the garage, not you. You know, one of those.
Something that Jacoby Myers said after the game, we asked him about, how you guys have played well in the first quarters offensively, but it hasn't been able to be sustained. He said he thinks early on you guys are really sharp about details, but it kind of fades a little bit later in the game. From a coaching perspective, how do you kind of correct that to make sure guys are consistent when it comes to being detailed?
Yeah, I think it's mental and physical stamina. I think that's something that we talk about from way back when. I think you know there's opportunities too, right? And I think that you go into the first and second drive, and guys are doing a really nice job, and long drives, and so there's a lot of execution that's good, and then we just kind of whatever took the mindset in that end of that first half, and we end up having to punt. And you gotta be able to turn that off and turn it back on when that second half starts, and that's that mental and physical stamina that we talk about, where you have a little lull in when you're playing, and then it's time to go rock and roll again. So you have the halftime, and you got to get out there and you got to get ready to rock and roll. And so I don't think it's any one particular thing. I think it's a continued purpose and focus when you're out in the practice field to make sure that everyone's sharp on every detail. And from the coaching perspective, we can all, as the game's going along, we can do a better job in the game, making sure that we're all prepared before we head back out there in every aspect.
Is it part of it? I mean, I think we've all made a big deal of like the early script, and that's working three of the last four games scored, opening drive, touchdown. Is there almost like too much focus of, hey, like these are the plays we're running, and everybody and all the players get on board, and then kind of as the game goes
I
on.
know you like that buzzword. You guys all like that buzzword
Yeah.
scripted, but it's not real. We just want to make sure you understand that. So it's not like we just say, hey, 1st and 10, we're going to take a 5-yard penalty and a false start, and then we get rolling again, So that wasn't scripted. But no, listen, you go through a plan and you have a plan. So the guys are dialed into when we're on the 35-yard line, and these are the things that we're going to attack them with. When we're on the 25-yard line, these are the way we're going to attack them. And if it's 3rd and 3, this is the way we're going to attack them. And there's nothing different. So this is how we're going to open the game. This is how we're going to continue to play the game. These are the plays off of the plays after we collect information. So there's not a script. There's not like this laid out thing. It's it's a focus and attention to detail. And I think as far as the preparation part of it, I think it proves that that we're doing a good job as far as how we want to attack people. We just got to continue to improve on that execution part and making sure that it can sustain for 4 quarters and not kind of be patchy. First quarter, second quarter was good, and then you had the 2-minute, and then come back strong in the fourth quarter. So you had that little lull in the third quarter this time. And so we just got to make sure we continue to get more consistent with all that.
Coach, when it comes down to trying to maximize on scoring touchdowns when you get in the red zone or at goal line situations, when you watch film, is there anything that you think can be betterly executed in terms of maybe a formation in the backfield with somebody blocking or routes run? Like, what do you think can help enhance that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we've been pretty good in the gold. I know we had the instance in the Rams where we didn't score, and then this past one that we didn't score. But I think that we've been pretty good. Going 2 for 4 in the gold isn't the worst in the world. But we want to, obviously when you get a turnover, you want to put that in, right? Because that can change the momentum of a football game. I think that's where the dynamic of that situation is more so than anything else. I think the plans have been pretty good, and I think the guys get it by the time we're going out there. So we just, it's when you get in those moments. Everyone's got to be on the same page. Head coach, coordinator, players, we all got to be on the same page. Let's have a clear message about exactly what we want to get done.
There was like a 2.5 quarter period there where Brock didn't touch the ball. That's something they were doing, or what do you look back on that? What do you see in that time period?
No, I mean, first, what was it, 13-play drive, right? And then a 10-play, and that was it. So we only had 2 real drives in that first half. So that's part of it, right? There's your first quarter or whatever you want to call it. Then the second quarter, we started off, we missed that opportunity with Tuck, and then so it was 3 and out. So that's, I think that, they had long drives. They were converting third downs, so it's time sustained, and I think that's what Kansas City's always done a great job of, kind of playing keep away from the other teams as well. And so Brock's a big part of what we do, and yes, teams are going to be affected by him. And now I think now that we start to get some guys back from injury, I think that'll help all that stuff out, and we'll continue to play off of that. But no, it didn't. Are they changing what they did? No. I mean, in the middle of a game, everybody, defenses are really good in this league, and when you attack them and they feel like there's a weakness, then they're going to make some adjustments too.
Now that Brock Bowers is getting so much attention now from defenses, how much of a fun challenge is it for you to be able to continue to make sure that he's involved in the offense and get him open looks?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's the name of this game, right? Your best players got to play their best, and if you're going to play the 2-time reigning world champions, you got to make sure that your best players are doing what they do, and so that's important always. And that's always going to be a focus of what we do.
How would you assess Jackson Powers Johnson when he slid over to center in the game, and what's your confidence level on him should he have to play center again this week?
Yeah, I think that's the credit to all those guys. It's Cody jumping in there. It's Jackson. It's Jordan being there to help out too. I think that's the cool part about it. Those guys have been forced into a lot of different rules already, in such a short season already. And so I think for a young rookie to be able to go and handle the mental part of it, I think that part of it is as cool. It's cool to see, and to know that we have multiple people that can do that. That's a big benefit to us because crazy things happen, and people are gonna have to dance around up front, and they're gonna have to play some positions maybe they didn't practice that much at. And Jackson's an example. I don't know if he had one rep at center leading up to that week, but he was prepared for the moment and went and did a good job.
Luke, we're about halfway through the season. What has been the biggest challenge, either for yourself or for the offense as a unit, so far this season?
Well, I think, this league, anytime you're in this league, and it's a challenge. You got great players on every team, so every down, every first down, every touchdown is hard to get. And I think that's no different this year to any other year. I think, we're in a new system. We got the new players, first-time head coach. We're all working together to get this ship righted, to get this thing going in the same direction. And, it's a process that continues to improve, the game day communication, to the practice, the way we practice, and the expectations every single day, and on the game day and all that stuff. I think all of that stuff is just continuing to get better. And I think that's the challenge. Anytime you're a new operation, you have a lot of things to work through. And I think, I just see us getting better each and every week as we go through these processes.
If Andre can't go, and then Dylan can, I know he's played some left guard before, but he's playing right guard this year. Is there any consideration to moving him back to left guard in that kind of a situation?
Yeah, I think it's just in such a flux right now that everything's on the table, honestly. So I think that's the cool part. When you have guys that are smart, like Dylan and Cody and Jordan and Jackson, you're able to kind of figure out at the end of the week what's the best fit and what makes the most sense get going. But honestly, everything's on the table right now.
Like blitz pickups have been a bit of an issue this year. The Chiefs started blitz a lot in the second half last week. What can you guys do to get better in that area?
Well, the second half, they were outnumbering us, so that's different. That's not picking up anything. That's, you saw the response by Gardner throwing some flats and things like that, getting the ball out. That's your only answer when they're going to outnumber you. The one at the end, the kind of shut down the end of the second quarter drive, that was just a missed assignment. So clean up young guy missed assignments. Like, you have to fight through that stuff. And I know that, whatever I read said something about critical penalties on stuff. Like, the reality was they really weren't critical because we overcame all of them. We were able to score points, and every time that we had the 3 false starts and the holding, we were still able to go get points in those drives. It's those critical errors in those moments, like a protection. We had the 2-minute drive where they brought the cat corner and we didn't make sure the protection went the other way, or we didn't throw hot, or like I said, the other one where the guy didn't make the right decision. Like, that stuff happens in games, and you got to overcome them. And I think the cool part is that you saw penalties, that we didn't get distracted by a 1st and 15, or we're going in the gold, and then we had 2 false starts. We put Dez out there for the one, and something happened. Those guys didn't blink. They responded the right way. They went right back out there, and we continued to move the drive, and we got points. And I think we talked about where's the growth and stuff. Like, that's where I'm seeing from this football team.
What gives you hope that the running game can be turned around here at this point?
Yeah, listen, you have games where, and obviously it's a little bit of extreme when it's like that, but you have games that go that way, and they're a really good front. I mean, they're a downhill football team that there's a reason why they're top 3 or whatever it is against the run. And that's why we had to throw it some, throw it a little bit more. And I think it's finding that good balance. And when you have the balance, then the other one just starts to pick itself up, and, we'll continue to grow through that and get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, when Thayer lines up as a wide receiver, I'm not asking for all the answers to that. On what you're probably looking for the defense to react a certain way, I would imagine. If you could shed any light on what that might be, or what you're kind of looking for.
I mean, when you do things like that, those are just like unscouted looks, right? So you're going to get what's their particular response. So then that way, when you move forward, okay, when they have an unscouted look, we anticipate like this is going to be their response. And so when you do something like that, when you do, you don't want to have them always in at the tight end. We're always running to them, or you're always running away from them, or you're always in the protection. You want to make sure that you have enough that they have to be prepared for as they're going through their game week as well. All right, thanks, guys.